Hi everyone, welcome back to this new podcast. Today we have one of my seniors. I'll tell you about him. His name is Satyam. So while I was getting ready for my IIT preparation, I found him in my hostel. He was my senior over there. He was also preparing for IIT. From there, he went to IIT Roorkee. After doing his electronics engineering in IIT Roorkee, he started working with Microsoft. After Microsoft, he went to Rippling, and right now he is in SD2 at Facebook London. Right. So I would like to welcome you, Satyam Bhaiya. How are you?
Hello, hi Arun. Thanks for having me and thanks for the good introduction. Yeah, all good.
Okay. Well, like in general, this podcast is going to be in general about engineering as a career. How can someone have a good life? How can someone be at a peak? How can someone achieve their dreams via engineering as a career? So it would be an open-ended conversation where I would be asking a few questions, in general questions, where you would be answering. If you want my views also on it, I would also be adding, and of course, cross questioning would be there. So would you be okay with that?
Yeah, perfect. Feel free to share your own views as well because
Sure.
it's better if it's a two-ended conversation rather than a one-sided.
Sure. Thank you. So I'll start with the first question, and it's one of the hot questions. So I would begin with this layoffs. Okay. So given the current job market volatility, with layoffs being a reality, how can someone ensure a good living in the field of engineering?
Yep, layoffs are sadly an unfortunate reality of the times that we are in.
Mm-hmm.
Because of the industry that we are in, I think
Right.
this factor of the global what you call it economic winds or macroeconomic conditions dictating the number of available jobs and the industries that the jobs have in. So yeah, it's an unfortunate reality that we have to kind of accept first
Mm-hmm.
of all. Having said that, um, it's not something that will deter you really from coming into this field or continuing to pursue this field.
Mm-hmm.
um, because a lot of good engineers that I know and those who got impacted, they eventually have something. They eventually have another jobs. In some cases, even better kind of work than they expected. Although it's not
Mm-hmm.
always true, but for some of them. So
Okay.
these are good times to believe in your skill, upskill yourself, go to basics and start understanding some of the fundamental things. Look at some of the skills that maybe get
Mm-hmm.
overlooked during your normal day to day at work and stuff. So yeah, I'd just say improve yourself if you get some time. Take it as a learning experience or something.
So a follow-up question Bhaiya, on this is engineering as a career was seen from a lens of where you can have stability, where you can make money. It was previously being seen like this. Right now, all the companies who fired, who laid off, right? For all those engineers who were impacted, right? Now, if somebody wants to have engineering as a career, why should he join now? Because right now there's no stability, right? People are not getting raise also, right? So why should someone join this as a career if somebody is coming just from the point of view of making money?
Hmm. Um, First of all, I don't think purely financial reasons is a good reason to kind of take up any career as well.
Right.
I generally believe there's three things that people should look at while choosing a career.
Mm-hmm.
First of them is whether it will work out financially or not. It's a very big
Right.
factor, and
Yeah,
it
right.
should be one of these. Second one is whether you are good at it or not.
Right.
So cricket maybe pays a lot of money to cricketers, but I know
Right.
that I'm not good enough to be at play at that level and be there. And third point is whether you enjoy it or not. So there are many fields that pay you money, but if you don't enjoy doing it, you should not get into it. So yeah, I believe choosing any career should be a trade-off between three of these, and you need to find that right sweet spot for you. But yeah, having said that, financial aspect, as I said, is a big part of it. And
Mm.
I understand there's this apprehension in general among people about people getting laid off jobs and stuff. But I still see the good engineers that I know, even if
Mm-hmm.
they were impacted, they are making fairly similar. money, or if not more, making fairly similar money or like slightly less money, which is not, to be honest, the kind of money that we get in paid in tech is like good enough to have a comfortable lifestyle in general. And
Mm-hmm.
that slight reduction doesn't like drastically impact their life. Even
Right.
talking about people who got impacted, not taking away the fact that it is obviously like big pain to kind of be in that kind of situation. And
Right.
um, it's not a good position to be in, right? There are like
Right.
sometimes other factors come into play as well. For example, for my like colleagues or friends who were working in US, getting laid off
Mm-hmm.
essentially meant that they had to uproot their life.
Right.
Some of them were on visas and stuff, and things didn't work out. They had to like move countries and stuff. Um, so yeah, there's this nuance and this discomfort or inconvenience, but it's not like at the end of the day, something really bad happened, right?
Mm-hmm.
They still enjoy the work that they do at a different place. They still have a comfortable life. I mean, if so, what I'd suggest is look at it from the lens of like the three things that I told you about, and see if engineering fits at the right position. Like you get enough money or not. Generally, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Whether you like or not, it's your like personal thing, and whether you are good at it or not, so it's your personal thing. So I'd say like look at these two personal things and look at whether the finances make sense to you or not, and then like make that decision.
Thank you for that answer. I 100% agree, and to whatever you said, right? So, to this, my second question is: you are at a really good place where most of the people aspire to be. So, I want to know about your journey as an STE2 uh, at Facebook London. Also, I would love to know what challenges you have faced up till now. So, if you can put some light on it.
The journey is going to be an overloaded question. Where do I start from? Okay. So let me start from my
When we
childhood.
met,
We are
when
going
we
very
met,
far back.
yeah.
So yeah, I'm originally from Nepal. I'm from a
Mm,
town called Janakpur, which is a small town in Nepal. I did my schooling up to 10th class from there. Then I did my 11th and 12th in Delhi, and
mm,
12th is when I first met you, I believe.
yeah, yeah.
So, and then I went to like college to IIT Roorkee. I did my undergrad from there. Uh, and as a college placement, I got placed in Microsoft. Um, so I'd say fairly like a good place to start my job at. So I worked there for around 2.5 years. Then I joined this startup called Rippling. It is an workforce management. They provide HR, IT, finance solutions to companies.
Right,
It's a US-based startup, but I worked for like their Bangalore office. We were mostly remote during that time because
right.
it was post-pandemic times. Um, and after that, I moved to London, and I've been working at Meta for just more than over an year now. Um, yeah, so that's been my journey effectively.
Mm-hmm.
Challenges. I think the biggest challenges, one of the biggest challenges for me was the move in general from Nepal to India.
Right.
At that age, and J preparation is hectic, let's be honest about it.
Yeah.
And at that time, I mean, it was really challenging for me to kind of come to a new city, be here, like study, and significant effort goes into studying there. I'm glad I had the support of my mother. My mom came and lived with me for some time in Delhi and made
Mm-hmm.
sure like I was really I could like focus on my studies and stuff. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
that time I see was one of like I'd say kind of a tough phase of my life, but I went past that. After that, like going into IIT, I think helped a lot for the further portions of my career. Um, in general, there's this whole debate on the internet around like tier one college, tier two college, tier three college. Let's
Right,
not get into that. But what I feel is going to a good college helps you kind of get these opportunities. Now, whether you
yes.
what you make out of these opportunities or not is entirely up to you. Some people from IIT do not make as much as the opportunities that get, and some people not from so famous colleges, but since they are so good at it, they just like hit it out of the park whenever they get a single opportunity and stuff. So for
Right.
me, yeah, I think I fairly got like enough opportunities. after like IIT and then joining Microsoft. So yeah, that's been my journey overall.
So one question that everyone would like to know: how did you ended up in London, and how are you feeling? Like, how is Facebook London? How is it treating you? Are you liking that place? Not?
Yeah. um, Moving to London has been one of the parts of my overall broader goal to kind of explore a lot of
Mm-hmm.
places.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, in general, I wanted to like kind of work at be at multiple places, see how's lifestyle, how's culture there, how are people there, like what's the in general mindset of people there, and all those things. And right now, the kind of phase that I'm in my life, I mean, I'm in a fairly comfortable position to be able to do that. It's not true
Mm-hmm.
for some of my colleagues who are probably at a later phase of life than me because they have family, parents to take care of, I don't know, kids to take care of, and everything. Um, Personally, and touch wood for me, everything's been in a fairly comfortable position overall for me to kind of like explore around, be try out all these multiple things. So, and Meta is one of like good companies to work at.
Right.
So when I had this offer, I was like, yep, I should make a move and see for
Hmm.
myself how I like it. Yeah.
Got it. Got it. So, I want to ask something really personal. Okay. So, in general, do you think engineers can make good money in corporate jobs? And if you can share your own experience with income growth over your career.
Hmm. Um, Whether engineers can make good earning in corporate jobs or not. This is a slightly tricky question in a sense because people have like different perspective of what they want out of life,
Mm-hmm.
how much money is like really good money for them, and all those things. How I'd like to kind of answer this is in a way of like comparing it with maybe doing a corporate job versus maybe what if you decided to start your own startup and all
Mm-hmm.
those things. Um, and I mean, there's this another aspect about working corporate in a big company versus a small company. The experiences, I'd say, are slightly different. So if you work for a big company, the kind of problems that you solve are at large scale, which is a
Right.
plus. So the kind of scale that Meta operates at, the products that they are used by billions of people at times, and then if not billions, then hundreds of millions and stuff.
Right.
So uh, there are like these good technical challenge problems around these scales, large scale, which is some people find that really exciting and like they go for it. If you work at a smaller company, there's this very really good problems around getting things from 0 to 1 because a lot of things are not there and then you build this. Some people find that extremely they learn a lot at these like how systems are designed from scratch and everything. um, and then doing a startup, there you get this advantage of building products from 0 to 1, and also not just looking at it from an engineering perspective but overall business sense of like how
Right.
what products to build, how to build these products, and whatnot. So financially, I'd pretty much say, other than startup, big and small companies, salaries might be different. It would depend on your individual
Mm-hmm.
roles and what you are able to negotiate and whatnot. But
Mm-hmm.
they are fairly same. Uh, Doing a startup is something that people purely do out of their passion to build something new
Right.
out of their own. So
I also have a view on this.
yeah,
I've
please go
seen
ahead.
I've seen the more the complex problem you solve,
Mhm.
the more the money you can make. And I've seen this irrespective of just IT industry. Like, this is, I feel this is true for um every place, every career choice that you make. And I've I've seen that product based companies have complex problems, because there's huge competition. You have to work upon performance, security, compliance, come up with new products, have competitors, right? You have to do your R&D also. So huge competition, so huge, um, you know much more complex problems. And when you are solving those complex problems for the world, you can impact when you're able to impact thousands of lives, like lakhs of lives, millions of lives, you your money would increase. You would start getting revenue. Revenue will bring profits, and of course, then it would be divided amongst all the employees also. This is what I feel. Now, if you are solving a major big problem via your own startup, I feel you can make money there. If in corporate you're solving a tough problem, complex problem, you can make money there as well, right? Even in a startup, if you go as an employee, you can be a senior member there, and the amount of complexity that they solve, right, that is what they are paid for. This is what I feel.
Yep, that's very true. In general, I agree with this point. Like, the more complex the problems you solve, the more financial returns, I'd say, or even the satisfaction returns that you get
Right.
in some sense. Um, there are some outliers around sometimes,
Mm-hmm.
but in general, and in
You're right.
general, it's true. And I think we are in a very good industry that way, because in tech
Right.
industry you have this leverage, that you can scale very rapidly, right? So if you
Right.
solve some problem for maybe hundreds of people, if you build an app maybe that's used by hundreds of people with very less more investment, I'd say you can easily scale it to maybe hundreds of thousands of people. The kind of underlying effort that goes is, although not the same, but not as proportionately larger as you get the returns on. So yeah, there's this very inherent big leverage if you do stuff in tech industry,
Mm-hmm.
which is a good position to be in, I'd say.
So you missed one question wherein I asked, what is your experience with income growth over your career? Would you like to answer that?
Um, Yeah, let's not go into
Uh,
numbers of numbers,
yeah,
but
that's
I
fine.
can maybe tell you about like how my level-wise progression has been at like these companies. So when I joined Microsoft, I joined straight out of college. So I joined at this entry-level
Right.
position, call it ST1. They have like two levels, 59 and 60. So I joined as a level 59 there.
Right.
Um, I had my career growth. I got promoted as an ST2 there, and that's when I moved to Rippling. And at Rippling, I was at similar level to what an ST2 in Microsoft would be. So although
Right.
like yeah, so these companies have slightly different meanings of what they call levels and stuff, but you can eventually map these. I mean, you could go to websites like levels.fyi and all, and you'll see
Right.
like what the similar levels are. And from there, I joined Meta. And as you
Hmm.
said, what is equivalent to SD2 here? We call that an E4 engineer. So
Okay.
yeah, I'm more of a system generalist software engineer here at E4.
Got it. Perfect. Perfect. Very nice. My next question is, you're a really successful engineer if I see it from my eyes. So I would love to know what skills were critical to your success. And if you'd like to tell, are these skills generally taught in your college or did you learn them on your own?
That's a really great question and makes me think. Um, Okay, so rather than a specific skills, I would like to answer this in a way about like in general skills that are that I feel are kind of useful in multiple tech jobs. So first of all, I think ability to learn and understand new things is in general true for a lot of like works, modern day job profiles, and it's more so important in our like software industry, in tech industry, because things keep evolving at much larger
Right.
pace. For example, talk about front end. There have been so many libraries.
Right.
You used to have different libraries. Now you have now React and Redux and everything. So just taking an example. Similarly, there are in other fields as well. Like so, this ability to learn and understand new things, at least get a hang of what it is quickly, and then be able to like dive deeper into it whenever required. This is, I think, a really important skill. Other than that, your in general problem solving skills, your
Mm-hmm.
analytical skills of like making the
Right.
right decisions, being able to make the right choices, understanding situations, and then comes your like technical knowledge about whether you are really sound about the tools that you need to solve the problem for our like software industry, whether it be knowing about programming languages, libraries, and like be understanding basics of some of systems and all those things. And one of them that gets overlooked is, I'd say, communicating effectively. This becomes really important if you can't build any good systems or you can't solve any major problems working alone. You have to have a
Right.
team. So whenever
Right.
there's a team, there comes this inherent fact about understanding what people are trying to solve, what people are trying to do, what people are trying to convey, as well as being able to like effectively convey what your opinion is and all those things. So yeah, I think these are overall broad set of skills that are like, if you have these skills, I'd say you'd be successful in a lot of careers, not only like tech industry based careers.
Right.
And talking about the impact of college, yeah. So I think some of these skills are what you start learning early on in your skills, like whether you can learn and understand things, whether you can dive deep when needed or not. So college definitely helps you like take it one step further. Um, so thinking about the importance of college, right? Rather than just the academic aspect of it, I think you learn a lot from your peers around you. You
You're
learn a
right.
lot from the groups around you, right? So in fact, you even get motivated from people around you. You push your
Right.
limits. You see someone is doing something like a specific way, and that gives you ideas to like apply it in different fields and all everywhere. So college has definitely helped me in that, as well as like kind of making sure my these skills are like at par, or like I'm like using
Right.
these skills in whatever ways. Um, but having said that, I think a lot of these get polished really when you start working. So real life, nothing is like as good as having some real life work experience. So I'd say yeah, I learned a lot of these things at my first job, and I'm still learning this as well at my
Right.
current job. And then like you tend on like you keep on like you transfer these skills when you go to a new job, and you keep these skills with you. So one of the advices that I keep giving to like whenever I'm like talking to juniors and all is invest a lot more in the skills that you're going to carry ahead.
Mm-hmm.
So you'd obviously work on like some specific things that are really specific to the company, maybe some, I don't know, underlying infras or whatever, but invest a lot more in the skills that are transferable, which were like the ones that I talked about.
Got it. I would like to add on to this. The
Mhm,
first skill that I personally think
mhm.
that anyone in this career should have is a problem solving skill. I think everyone should be okay with this because every day there would be a new problem, a new challenge that would come up. You might have a learning curve in that, you might not have. But point is, you should be okay with taking a new challenge and starting, keep your spirits high and solve them. Right? Results could be great, results could not be great. It doesn't really matter, but you should be good with it. Right? The second is, if you are able to work in a team, if you're able to learn things from them as well as teach them whatever you have learned, I feel this could be a really good skill. If you have it, you would be a really good engineer in general, I feel. Third is, if I talk about in general, if you want to go for front end, back end, mobile, web, mla, there could be different skills that I'm pretty sure everyone is knowing, right? Like these days, most of the companies are going for React in front end, right? For backend, Spring Boot, and all that. That's fine, right? LLD, HLD knowledge, everything is fine. But I feel this problem solving skill is something that if you do not have it, you cannot be a good engineer in general. And I personally think that this generally starts from college, wherein you start practicing DSA, right? Then move on to complex systems, right? You joined, let's say you joined Microsoft, I joined Atlassian, right? I started solving basic bugs. I started with that here in my company, wherein later on they started giving me features, now full on bigger products handling. So if you're not able to have that skill, I think you're in a problematic situation. This is what I feel.
Yep, you hit it in the nail with that like progression. You start from solving smaller problems, and then you gradually move on to larger problems. That's how you grow as an engineer as well. And
Right. So like you said that you have to keep on learning, right? So I have a question on that only. Like, how are you staying updated with the latest technologies and trends? Because this career needs continuous learning. You mentioned every day new library, new framework, new language coming up. So how do you stay updated? Like, are you reading something? Are you watching something on YouTube? Are you taking up courses? Are you reading books? Like, what are you doing?
yeah, so my in general funda about it has been to not really go on a specific libraries and frameworks. I mean, learn them when you really need to use them. Other than
Mm-hmm.
that, I what I generally find is a lot more valuable is to invest on like more fundamental skills around like maybe some basic high level design concepts, some low level
Mm-hmm.
design concepts. And it's, and as much as we say like we understand this, I find many a times I myself find there were some holes in some parts of understandings of these. And
Mm-hmm.
it's really important to kind of like make sure like that you keep on brushing these up, you keep on like having discussions with people, because sometimes these discussions are really relevant in making sure like you fill those blanks or holes that you had in these understandings. um, my way to do this has been to kind of read up on stuff at times, some good blogs published by maybe some good companies, sometimes even Meta or Google, Netflix, all this, like keep on publishing their blogs about some of the systems that they designed and how they went on about it. Some of these are like really good in sense that they also give rationale into why they went with one particular choice rather than other. So I generally prefer like reading up on these stuff. Sometimes I also watch some videos around these topics, what really intrigues me. So
Mm-hmm.
my general idea has been to read up on what interests me at that particular point, and maybe watch videos on the particular area that I'm interested in, and not worry too much about, not have this FOMO of like maybe something new library just got released. I'll probably read up on what it fundamentally does so that
Mm-hmm.
I'm not too far away from some new innovation that happened. And out of these, what really interests me, I invest some time like diving deeper into it.
Got it. Thank you for that answer. Uh, to this, I have some in general questions. How if a person is starting their college life, right? They're coming in engineering as a career. So I have questions regarding those students. So if you could go back in the time when you were a college student, what additional skills or knowledge would you have focused on to learn better or prepare better for your career? Like,
Yeah. Um, I'd probably have I'd probably have like tried to invest some time into practical applications of some of the concepts that I learned, mainly around fundamentals,
mm-hmm,
operating systems, computer networks, basic data structures and algorithms. Um, I mean, you read up on those concepts, but you are really not sure whether these concepts are solidified or not until you
mm-hmm,
like build something and then have like use that concept really while building that. That's when you really understand how solidified your concepts are. So I'd probably focus on understanding these concepts a bit better, not saying that I didn't, but
okay,
and also kind of building new stuff where you actually use these concepts so that you can be sure like you really understand these concepts rather than you just like heard of it or you just know it like on the surface.
got it. So to this, my follow-up question is, um, what kind of projects did you work upon when you were starting? And how did these projects actually prepare you for the current role that you are in as of now?
Mm. You mean the projects in my college, yeah?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So in my college, in general, I've been kind of a learner um, who, apart from academics, I mean, you have to do some stuff for your academics, and I was not too focused on that, but I used to like just do the right amount of stuff for academics.
Mm-hmm.
But apart from academics, the approach that I took was kind of see some interesting field or see some interesting idea and then start understanding more about it and learning more about it. So I didn't do a lot of projects, but the uh, ones that I remember right now, um, it used to be about, so I was intrigued by developing backends at some point. So I did this code fundo project where I just built a basic Python backend where you could
Uh-huh.
send it an image and then it would try to do some OCR recognition, then try to find like whether these items are available online on any of e-commerce websites or not, and then suggesting relevant links. So the idea was
Mm-hmm.
to support an application. So let's say you saw a book and you want to purchase
Right.
that. You just click a picture and then you just get like this
Got
is
it.
on Amazon for XYZ, Flipkart XYZ, all those things. Yeah. So my in general ideas around projects were, and which I think should be, rather than thinking of particular projects, think about what you want to learn and then just like start building something that interests you in that. Um, yeah.
Got it. I'll share my experience also on this. In college, I was always intrigued to make my own e-commerce website. So, in my first year, I remember I was learning web development for the first time, right? After this, I created a groceries e-commerce website. And to be honest with you, I learned a lot from it, right? It was for the first time I could see things being, used by people. So, I remember just so that people use my website, I was going around distributing pamphlets for my new e-commerce website to different people so that they go on my website, they check it out. I remember getting my first order on my website. Now the thing is, people, when they see real actual impact, okay, that is when they start realizing or if they like this career or not. So when I first made my e-commerce website, I was like, wow, I was like this. So, to be honest with you, I highly recommend this project to everyone that go for building an e-commerce platform of your own. If you are able to, you would learn a lot. You would get to know if you're interested in this career or not. Development. Then you might go for other sort of development, MLAI also, right? If you're interested in that. But e-commerce is something that I would highly recommend everyone to go for. Go and build one e-commerce platform.
Yeah, that's a good advice. I'd rather make it in general though, not
Mm-hmm.
maybe e-commerce, but anything that people uses, because
Mm-hmm.
there's nothing better than, as you said, right, the high that you get from seeing like
Right.
whatever you're building is actually useful to users. I mean, it could maybe be not e-commerce website. It could be something that's very specific to the people in your college, I'd say. Maybe
Right.
I saw like people build some apps for like mess canteens and stuff. So do whatever.
Yes.
Whatever. I mean, find what, if you are like motivated enough, you'll find what you want to build. Just build anything. Don't care about like whether it will make money or not. If it's
Right.
even gonna be used by like some
Yeah,
small
right.
set, well, just build it, and then you actually like you that's a really great feeling to have if your what you have built is being used by people.
Okay. So, so Bhaiya, you are making fortunately good amount of money, right? Like every engineer does, right? So, I would like to know how are you managing your finances and what kind of investments do you like to make? What do you believe in?
Yeah. So in general, believe in this idea of like having some kind of emergency fund ready for like
Mm-hmm.
tough times or whatever. People have different numbers. I generally go for like 4 to 5 months of my expenditures. That much of money I keep like liquid handy all the times
Mm-hmm.
whenever I need that in that way. And the rest of my money, some of it is in US stocks market. So I have like
Mm-hmm.
individually picked up some stocks. These are tech stocks. And
Okay.
one of my items to do there is actually move it to some index fund or something that I have not done. So right now these are like individually picked stocks, but I like to put them in index fund so that I don't have to keep on rebalancing them like
Got it.
every certain period of time. Um, um, a portion of my money, although I don't really think of it as an investment, but we bought a house in a different town in Nepal, in
Oh,
Kathmandu.
nice.
Yeah, that's on my mom's name though. But yeah, I've like put some money into it and
Right.
like keep on paying the EMIs and stuff. So um, yeah, so that's where I mean my major chunk of my money has been.
Got it. Congratulations for that. I think
Thank
it
you.
is every child's dream to have their own house.
Yeah, rather than it, I'd say it's more of like this South Asian children's dream of like
Right.
getting a house for your parents, although they already
Yes.
have one in my hometown.
Right. Right.
So yeah.
Okay. Okay. So, like we're talking about money, so I would like to ask one simple question. What are your views on money in general? Right? Because I have seen people thinking either they are just running behind money or they think they just have to get money, this will sort their life. or second, they're not interested in money at all. So in general, I would like to know what are your opinions on money as in general. What do you think of it, and how does it fit in your life priorities?
Hmm. Um, yeah, so I see money as a tool
Hmm.
that helps you get the convenience, gets you help the comfort, gets you help the happiness you like. Money is not the final goal, although it is a very important tool, as I said.
Right.
But the more important thing is you live a happy life, you live a comfortable life. You are not worried about what happens when XYZ happens tomorrow. Although you can't like plan for everything, but you have like a decent what do you call fallback thing to fall
Right.
back on if you have like enough money. Um, so yeah, I've always viewed it as a tool that helps me get the happiness that I want, that helps me make the people around me happier. Uh, so yeah, it's been about that for me mainly, rather than I do not like intend to earn. I do not like want to earn very huge amount of money, as in be the richest person in the world or whatever.
Right.
I just want like good enough money so that I can be happy. The people around me that I care about, they are happy, and yeah, and if like some tough time comes, like then I have something to fall back on.
Got it. Thank you so much for that answer. uh, that was my question set, Bia, to be honest with you. I think I got to learn a lot from asking you, got to know about your opinions. How was your experience with us, if you would like to share that?
Yeah, this is really cool what you're doing. I mean, I got to know more about what you're doing, and I'm really happy that you started something like this. As I said, right, if you can add like net value overall in some people's life, it's good enough
Right.
to do.
Right.
Uh, and it's a better thing if like you can like expand that and impact a lot of many people's like
Right.
add positive value to a lot of many people's lives.
That is what my motive is. I genuinely want, if people are choosing engineering as a career, they should know the right things why they are choosing. Like you answered that one question where you told us those 3 points, right? Second is, if somebody want to succeed in this career, right, I want them to know that okay, this could be a path for you, could be, could not be, but for all those, for some people it might work. Third is, there are a lot of misconceptions about this career as well, so I want to clear them all, right? Like your experience have been, right, after IIT you went to Microsoft, whereas some people think only IITians can go there, whereas in other podcasts I've had people from other colleges as well, right? So they need not to think that okay, if I'm not in IIT I cannot go to these. But some people have hatred for IIT. I've seen that, where they think that नहीं यार IIT, मतलब IIT वाले ही ऐसे IIT, no, right? We all are in general, if we can be good problem solvers, we can be in any good company, or we can have something of our own also. So this is my motive for this podcast. If I'm able to help 5 6 people also now through one podcast, my aim would be like, I would be really happy.
Yeah, that's really inspiring in a way. Even I'm like getting inspired by seeing you like talk about this. It's great. I think what you're doing is gonna be really useful for people who are like early into their careers or people who are trying to get into this career. And it's great like you are debunking these myths. So I'm glad for what you're doing.
Thank you so much, Bhaiya.